Hello, I am going to try to show you how to make a W using Illustrator. So I have come up with some different brushes over here on my brush deal, and the brush can make a W with a big fat magic marker, you can make a W with a big thin magic marker, you can make it with a Sharpie and another Sharpie. Anyway, let's get rid of those things and let's try to make a W with a fountain pen. Now a fountain pen W, you can have a W that gets thick when you press down and light when you press up, and thick when you press down and light when you go up. That's the sort of fountain pen that I use. You can have a fountain pen that makes an italic line, which is thick on the downstroke. See, why does it do that? Crazy. So it'll be thin on the side stroke, and so that when you go to the side it's thin, when you go down it's thick. Side thin, down thick. And for some reason this brush is behaving awkwardly. So, but let's go to trying to make, what the hell? Let's go to trying to make this W with a fountain pen nib. So here's how a W can, as you can see, I'm trying to make a W and it's not easy. Okay, let's say we like that W. No, let's not say we like it because we don't like it. Let's say we like this, we'll make it simple. W. Like that. Okay, so first of all I make it a little bit smaller so that the thinnest lines show up. Okay, there's a lot of problems with this particular W. That's awkward, that's flat. The way the strokes end, they always tend to be a little bit flatter and not very graceful. So at the end of every stroke, I have to change it. See, I move this little thing up here, move that little line, and these, no matter how far you zoom in, these little dots are always the same size. And the reason that this letter is sort of bumpy is there's all these dots there. Now I could have made the W using a smoother line, actually, or I can make a W that has different tolerances, that has fewer dots than the first one I made just a second ago. Here's back to the more this is down here, the more the line will follow exactly what I tell it. So in a way, doing something like this would be great if I'm doing the outline of a map with all the little nooks and crannies. If I'm doing lettering, however, it's going to show all of my little bumps. So to do that same letter, using a different brush where we have it more smooth, we have fewer dots making the line. So if you look at this, all of these little dots, all these little blue dots make that shape. This one has fewer blue dots, and what I like to do is to have as few as I can possibly have when I create a letter, so there's less stuff to deal with. So what I have to do, for example, here is get rid of some of these dots, and this changes the line, of course, and you might say, well, you're getting rid of too many dots, but no, I'm making this line now, this segment of line is much cleaner than it used to be. Again, if I'll go backwards to how it used to be, it used to look like this. And again, we cut, copy, edit, paste. And now I get rid of these. So look at the one on the bottom was the original one. And now I'm going to go and get rid of some of these points. So now there's only 2 points at the top and the bottom of this curve rather than 4. And I can make this smooth, like that. So I go here and I switch all these other things around. And look what happens to the lines on the outside. The fat part comes up in a different spot. So watch what happens to the whole letter here. Thicks and thins move around. So you can't play with it too much without changing the letter completely. Let's pretend for some reason that I like the way this looks. I don't particularly, but I don't want this thing to last forever, this video. So let me just simplify it a little bit more. And there are ways to simplify it all at once. So we go up here to the brush stroke again, and we go to, cancel, object, path, simplify, and that happens. That's too much simplification, so we undo that, and then we can simplify it a little bit differently. Anyway, I don't want to deal with that. Let's just pretend this is the way I like it. Well, there are things that I still have to do to change it. These lines, this line right here at this edge is much too thin. So now eventually what I do is I expand this stroke, and now it is no longer a stroke, it's a shape. So I have to move one edge of that shape at a time. And again, you can see how difficult and how time-consuming this can be, and especially when you grab the wrong dot. If you miss the dot and you touch the edge over here, you end up moving the line between the 2 dots. If you hit the dot, it's fine. You can move the shapes back and forth. You can do all sorts of great stuff. It just takes a long time. And again, if there the backwards button, the undo button, is almost worn off of my computer because it takes, you're always grabbing the wrong thing, and it becomes a problem. So making vector handwriting is not easy. So that's how it works. Ta-da! How do I turn this thing off? Caps that